Over the years, our kids have had a lot of illnesses. 6 kids means a lot of childhood sniffles and coughs. And when our kids weren't feeling well, it affected our entire home. Luckily, some clever guys in Brisbane have come up with the perfect solution: Rehydrate.
Rehydrate are delicious drinks that rehydrate up to 3 times faster than water alone, packed with essential electrolytes. Rehydrate is one of the few rehydration products that is safe for all ages. Stock up at Coles and be prepared whenever illness strikes.
It's a Happy Families podcast with Dr. Justin Coulson. We're Luke and Susie, parents of 3 little boys, and this is the podcast for those of us who are time-poor parents who just want answers now.
Thank goodness for our parenting expert, because we've had a doozy of a question come to the show that we're going to get him to answer because I can't.
Yeah, we've got a 7-year-old who's been egged on to do something wrong, and a parent who seems at wit's end on how to actually deal with the scenario. It's going to be hard for you to answer this one, but as the parenting expert, you'll give it a go. I've got a feeling we're going to be talking about the definition of discipline to start us off. Justin,
Have I done that many conversations with you now?
It's been a while.
It's been
a while. So
but it's
I'm
a
happy
wonderful
to go there
foundation of everything that you've brought into our world.
Yeah.
Is to really work through what this is, because this is the opening line of a question that's come through the show.
Yes.
Let's have a look at it.
I'm really struggling with discipline. My
Here we go.
7-year-old...
7-year-old, okay.
7 years old, egged on by a friend, damaged some private property recently. It was a sign outside of a gym. And I was so shocked that he would do that. Our usual discipline tactics are withholding his favourite things like weekend iPad time or similar, but I feel like nothing's working.
That's because that kind of discipline doesn't. Really, all it does. Okay, so let's go over the very brief summary of this. I've certainly shared this on the show many times. Discipline and punishment are different things. If you look it up in the dictionary today, discipline means punish, but historically, discipline has always meant to teach or to guide or to instruct. It's about showing somebody the way. To be a disciple, to be disciplined, is to follow a path. Punishment means that you hurt somebody. You make them pay a price for something that they've done that you don't like. In other words, punishment is all about using your power to inflict pain and to hurt. Discipline is all about using your relationship to influence, guide, and help.
Yeah.
If I was to summarise, do you want to hurt your child or do you want to help your child when they start to struggle with peer pressure or making poor choices?
Yeah. Okay.
This is the logic that I think has really helped us many times over. Countless examples of really trying to work with frustrating children who just continuously do the opposite to what you ask them to do, despite how many times you've sort of had that conversation.
Let's look at this specific scenario. In concept, because I'm sure many parents have been through this, where their child has behaved in a way that they just weren't raised to be. They've done something
Oh my gosh,
I can't believe my child did this. So how then, if it feels like what you're doing isn't working, then what do you do about a behaviour that has already been done? So there's been a removal of time here.
Sure. We need to talk about what's happened in this specific scenario, okay? So often when our children are with other kids, especially as they start to get older, normally, 7's a little bit young, normally from about 8 or 9, they start to be aware of what's going on around them. They want to have popularity. They want what psychologists call social capital. And so they'll do... well, there's no other way to say it. They'll do dumb things because they think that they're going to get kudos. They think they're going to develop some level of... capital within the group, so they'll become popular.
Yeah.
Because everyone wants to be popular, right?
Yeah.
Our kids just want to, not all of them, but many of them want to be in the in crowd. So what we've got here is a child who is behaving in a way that is not consistent with the values that he's been taught because he wants something from his friends. Embarrassing story. When I was about 14, 15 years old, my friends came over one night. I used to be like a really competitive swimmer. I was swimming 10 sessions a week, 2 hours per session. I was swimming like dozens of kilometres a week. It was ridiculous how much I was in the pool, which meant that I could consume a whole lot of food and I had a really healthy appetite, was strong and fit and whatever. My friends came over this night. I'd just finished a 2-hour swimming session. I think I'd swum 6 or 7 Ks in that 2 hours. I did my big bowl of spaghetti bolognese, and one of the guys says to me, "Hey, Justin, have you ever done the milk challenge?" I said, "What's the milk challenge?" He said, "You've got to drink 2 litres of milk in," I can't remember if it was 5 or 10 minutes, whatever it was. It was pretty quick for 2 litres of milk. I looked at him, I laughed, I'm like, "That's so easy." Bear in mind, I've just eaten spaghetti bolognese, and it was a lot. because I used to really pack it away. I've opened up the fridge. There's 2 litres of strawberry milk. I've said, watch this. He's pressed go on the stopwatch, and I had it gone in about 3.5 minutes. I mean, it's just poof, gone. A few years later, I'm about 18 or 19. Some friends are getting together on the weekend. We catch up. One of them says, hey, I thought we should do the milk challenge today. I'm like, what's the milk? No, I said, the milk challenge, that's lame. I did it when I was 14. He looked at me incredulous. You've done the milk challenge? Uh-huh. You've drunk 4 litres of milk in an hour? I said, oh, no, I did 2 in a few minutes. And he said, anyone can do 2. The 4 litres is where it's at. And so that morning we all went down to the shops and we bought 4 litres of milk each. We set the stopwatch. And when that quantity of milk leaves your system via your mouth after your body simply rejects it and says, I can't hold it anymore, it is what we saw was, I can't believe I'm sharing this. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, it's a little too graphic.
It is. I'll stop there. The point that I want to make is this, though. What teenage boys are sensation-seeking, they're risk-taking, they're the ones that are more likely to do this. What teenage boy has ever been home alone, opened the fridge on Saturday morning, gone 4 litres of milk? I wonder.
Yes.
I wonder. That's not what happens. We only do this stuff when our friends are around. So we've got a little boy who's doing something that he knows is not right and is in conflict with his values because his friends are there. That's the context. And we need to take that into consideration when we work out how we can discipline, that is, how we can help him to make better decisions next time.
Yeah.
So when we rely on punishment, what we're essentially doing is we're being the police. And you know what happens when you drive down the road and you see the police? You hit the brakes. You slow down. The front of the car goes when it just sort of dives towards the ground.
Anxiety, not good emotion.
No, not at all. And then once the police are out of your rearview mirror, chances are, if you're like most motorists, you speed up. I'm not suggesting everyone's out there speeding like crazy, but most people are less vigilant of their speed. They know that they can get away with a bit, and so many of them will. It's the same with behaviour. When we're using punishment, our kids hit the brakes when we're around, but once we're not there, they know that the police aren't watching. In other words, they're being externally regulated. I want my children, and I know you want your children, to be internally regulated. That is, they want to do the right thing because it's the right thing, and they're deciding. They're not doing it just because they're being watched.
Yeah.
The way we get there is that we use my 3 E's of effective discipline. So we've got the 7-year-old who's destroyed the sign because he's been egged on by some friends.
So that's really the behaviour we're concerned about, is how easily influenced he is.
So how do we help him? Because that's actually the question. The question isn't how do I hurt him, how do I punish him, how do I teach him a lesson? The question is how do I help him to learn to be the kind of human that doesn't believe that it's okay to destroy signs? And the way we do that is we do a couple of things. First of all, we explore. We explore how he was feeling. How did it feel when you were with all your friends and they were saying to do it? Did you feel like it was the right thing or the wrong thing? What was going on for you? Now, the questions will vary depending on the age of the child. A 7-year-old, we're kind of going to make it a bit easy for them. But we want to say, how did it feel after you did it? What were you thinking? Did you feel good afterwards? Did you feel nervous afterwards? Were you scared later because you knew you might get in trouble for this? We want to explore deeply, not just superficially. We explore. You've heard me say a few times, we explore, we don't explode. We get curious, not furious.
Yeah.
We understand, not reprimand.
Yeah.
The idea here is that we want our child to know that we're just trying to understand how they're feeling, what's going on, and what really sat behind that behaviour. Then we explain. We say, you know what, there were a few things going on here that were wrong. I can tell you what they are, and so you might, or you might instead say, why don't you tell me what you think went wrong here? Why don't you explain it to me? The more they're explaining, by the way, the more their mouth is moving, the more their brain has to move, which means that they're going to learn and internalise. The most important part of this, once we've explored and explained, though, is that we empower our child. So we say to the 7-year-old, okay, well, what do you think we need to do now to fix this and to make it right? Now, a child is unlikely to say, well, Mum, well, Dad, I think we should go down and apologise, and I should do some work to make sure that we can fix things up at the gym where I destroyed the sign. 7-year-old boys are not really inclined to go and make restitution. Whatever they recommend, ideally we're going to be able to say, well, that's a great idea. If they make a dumb decision, if they shrug their shoulders and say, I don't know, you can say, well, something needs to be done. We need to work out how we can fix things and how we can make sure this doesn't happen in the future. So what you're looking for ultimately is the opportunity to guide them towards some sort of restoration to fix up what they've done. But there's a second part of the conversation, and that is, next time you're in this situation, what do you think would be a better response? How can I help you? How can I guide you? How can I teach you to respond better when all of your friends are pressuring you? as parents, it's our job to socialise our kids, and the best way we can do that is to help them find answers within themselves.
Yeah, great.
Wonderful.
So good.
Lots to explore, explain, and empower. Dr. Justin Coulson, thank you so much for your help.
Thanks, guys.
You can find more information on all of Justin's books, programs and podcasts at happyfamilies.com.au. But if you'd like to find out how to have Justin come and speak at your school, organisation or event, go to justincoulson.com.